village by the wood where the rain forgot to fall lived a boy named Jack with dreams so bright and tall. They had no gold or garden, not a crumb to spare, but hope still flickered softly in the cool, dry air. Climb, climb high where the beanstalks grow, to a world above with a gentle glow. Magic meets a heart that's true, when wisdom leads the path for you. Jack had clever hands and eyes that saw the good. Even when the world was grey, he did the best he could. Then one day a path appeared stretching to the blue, where secrets slept in clouds and skies beyond the view.
Jack and the Giant. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, nestled at the edge of the woods, there lived a cheerful boy named Jack. He wasn't very big, nor was he particularly strong, but he had the kindest heart and the cleverest head you could imagine. Jack lived with his mother in a small, tumble-down cottage with a leaky roof and creaky floorboards. Times were hard. The well had dried up the previous summer, the crops had failed, and Jack and his mother were down to their last loaf of bread. One morning, Jack's mother looked sorrowfully at their only remaining goat, Daisy.
We have no choice, Jack. You must take Daisy to market and sell her. Buy some vegetables, and maybe we can stretch it until the rains come,
she said. Jack nodded, hugging Daisy tightly. She was a young, gentle thing with soft ears and a fondness for eating thistles. As he led her along the path to the market, he met a strange old woman in a cloak of leafy green. Her eyes twinkled like dewdrops.
"That's a fine goat,"
she said.
"Tell me, would you part with her for something better than money?"
Jack hesitated.
You wouldn't eat her, would you? She's more of a friend than anything.
The old woman chuckled kindly.
No, my dear boy. I have no need for meat. I promise you'll be well looked after.
Jack blinked.
What could be better than money when you're hungry?
The old woman smiled and reached into a pouch.
These,
she said, holding out 5 glowing beans.
They are magic. Plant them under the light of the moon and watch them grow. But only if you are honest, fair, and brave of heart.
Jack was curious. The beans glowed gently in her palm, and he felt, deep down, that this was no ordinary meeting. Something about the woman reminded him of the stories in old books. So he nodded, and they made the trade. When Jack returned home, his mother was rather cross.
You did what? Swap Daisy for beans? Oh, Jack.
But that night, Jack planted the beans in the garden, just as the moon rose above the hills. He went to bed hungry, but hopeful. The next morning, the most extraordinary thing had happened. A giant beanstalk stretched from their garden up into the clouds. Thick as a tree trunk, it twisted and curled upwards, its leaves fluttering like sails in the breeze. Jack, being Jack, packed a crust of bread and a bottle of water and began to climb. He climbed and climbed until he passed the birds and touched the clouds. At the top, he found himself in a strange and beautiful land filled with glowing flowers and golden fields. In the distance, a castle towered high, and in its garden stood a giant, a real one. He was enormous, of course, and just a little frightening at first glance, but there was a certain sadness in his eyes that made Jack pause. Jack, being sensible, watched him quietly for a while. Then he straightened his shoulders, walked up the garden path, and called out,
Excuse me, sir. I hope I'm not bothering you.
The giant turned in total surprise.
A human boy? Here? What do you want, little one? Come to take something, are you?
Rumbled the giant, peering down with sorrowful eyes.
That's what the last one did, and he very nearly did me in, he did.
He gave a great sigh and sat down with a thump that made the floor tremble.
He crept into my home, tricked my dear wife, and stole every last thing I had.
The giant went on miserably.
And then, oh, how dreadfully unfair. He went around telling folk that I was the villain, that I used to steal cows and even little children for my supper. What a dreadful tale. He even said that the golden harp and the hen who lays golden eggs belonged to his family. Absolute nonsense. Those were treasures passed down in my family for generations.
Jack looked up at the giant, his eyes wide and honest.
Sir, I haven't come to steal anything.
He said gently.
I climbed the beanstalk because our village is in trouble. We have no water, no food, and no hope.
The giant frowned, but there was a flicker of interest in his eye.
Help? Why should I help humans? They only ever take.
Jack sat on a toadstool and looked up at the towering figure.
That's not how it should be. I believe in fairness. If you help us, perhaps we can help you too.
The giant raised a bushy eyebrow.
And what do you have to offer?
Jack smiled.
Stories, songs, company, friendship. No one ever visits you, do they?
The giant blinked. No one had spoken to him kindly in many years. He sighed, the ground rumbling beneath his breath.
Very well.
Let us make a fair deal.
I shall give you 3 gifts. A self-watering jug to keep your crops green, seeds that will grow into a rich harvest in just 1 week, and a lantern that glows with warmth and light through the darkest nights. In return, you and your village must promise never to steal from me, and you must visit often.
It's a deal.
Jack nodded. The giant grinned a rather magnificent grin that stretched the width of a barn door. He handed Jack a little jug that sloshed with cool water, a pouch of glowing seeds, and a lantern that twinkled like 1,000 fireflies. Jack returned down the beanstalk and ran into the village, shouting with glee.
We're saved. We have water. We have seeds. We have hope.
At first, the villagers were rather wary, but when they saw the dry earth turn green, with just a sprinkle from the jug, and marveled at the glowing lantern and the strange shimmering seeds, their eyes lit up with joy. They rolled up their sleeves, worked together, and planted the magic seeds with care. To everyone's astonishment, a rich harvest appeared in just 1 week. The whole village celebrated with songs and smiles. And true to his word, Jack visited the giant every week, sometimes with his mother, and sometimes with other curious villagers. He brought freshly baked bread from the village baker, golden honey from the hives, juicy berries, wildflowers, and plenty of cheerful chatter. The giant, in return, taught Jack all sorts of marvelous things about cloud farming, how to collect thunder honey, and the secrets of sky trees that danced in the wind. Children sang sweet songs, drew colorful pictures for the giant, and the old village storyteller shared ancient tales by the light of the lantern. The castle, once lonely and echoing, was now full of laughter and joy. Years passed, and the village below never wanted for food or water again. The people were content and kind, and they never once broke their promise. As for Jack, he grew tall and wise, and became the bridge between the world above and below. He often said that being poor is never a reason to steal. Hard work, honesty, and fairness can bring far greater treasures than gold. And so, in a cottage with a giant beanstalk in the garden, Jack lived happily with his mother, his friends, and the kindest giant the world had ever known.
Climb, climb high where the beanstalks grow, to a world above with a gentle glow. Magic meets a heart that's true, when wisdom leads the path for you. Oh Jack, the sky did see, your courage changed the world to be. In a castle in the clouds lived a giant all alone, with gifts to share and seeds to spare if only he'd been shown. But Jack came not to steal or fight, he came with open hand, and with wisdom and honesty they healed both sky and land.